On the left is the UV map that was generated inside of Maya, and on the right are the textures that will create the bag covering for our model. Now I've introduced a new layer down at the bottom of the layer window, and I've used my eyedropper, eye on the keyboard in Photoshop, and I've selected an orange from the existing texture, and I filled it with that and put it below the actual UV map layer so that I can see the UV map more clearly and introduce the texture pieces. So I'll go to the layer with the texture pieces, and I'll start to bring in some of these. Now, before I start to really get involved with this, I need to go into Maya because I need to identify what the front of the bag is, so that when I create the UV map in Photoshop, it kind of comes up in the right place. I can always rotate it, but I prefer to do it this way. So I'll go to the UV editor, and I'll select one of the faces on the front of the geometry. And now I can see that this larger square area is where it'll be represented here. I'll return to Photoshop now and begin to create my texture. So I've brought in the back of the bag, so I'll place that here for a moment, and I'll go to the layer with all the pieces. I'll get the front of the bag and I'll bring that in. And I'll start by scaling it as closely as I can to the shape of the template. Now I'm going to go ahead and scale these pieces and match them as closely as I can to the existing pieces that are here, and then when we come back we'll save the file and apply it to our 3D Maya project. Now I have the texture pretty well completed, but I didn't supply the tutorial file with the bottom of the bag. So we're going to use a bit of a cheat. I'm going to go to the back layer, or the back part of the bag here, which is the one with the content on it. And I'm just going to get my marquee tool and I'll select across the bottom, right about there. And I'm going to copy it to its own layer. Now I can hit Command J, and now it will be on its own layer. And I can take that now and I'll put it down here, and I'll just scale it to fit. So the bottom of the bag really won't be seen, so it's really kind of insignificant. I'm going to turn off the UV map, which is at layer number 1, to see what I have so far. So that'll work pretty well. So I'm going to save it, and I'll return to